Arnold Schwarzenegger is Lord Calidor, the most skillful warrior, the most daring swordsman, the greatest adventurer of all. One man can bring the world to justice, and one woman has the power to fight by his side. Red Sonya, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brigitte Nielsen. Red Sonya, rated PG-13. Now playing. Check newspapers for a theater near you.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
You will suffer an eternity for this.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to 0 Point Reviews. You got Kevin, you got Jeff, and we're doing the third of Conan-ish kind of films. Because after Destroyer, this is what we got was Red Sonya from 1985. Now, Kevin, before we get into what we like to do best around here, good, bad, and judging things and each other, make sure everybody, you hit that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button as well. Hit the bell notification so you can stay tuned to all of our video content. Hey, and share it out there. Let's go. Kevin, what do you remember, or what's your first memory of Red Sonya?
Okay, so I remember this, renting this from a mom and pop VHS store when rental companies were first popular. This came out. And my dad rented it, and I remember really liking this as a kid, but I don't think I've seen it since 1986. Like maybe a bit on HBO here, maybe a bit there, but like nothing substantially watching this movie. So I was kind of going in blind on this one, just with real thick nostalgia goggles. I just really remember liking this because Conan was in it. But before we go any further, I have questions about that trailer when we get to the bad. That trailer was really bad.
Yeah, I chose that one on purpose.
Okay, good.
It was not even the first one I found either. It easily could have been, but it wasn't.
That seemed really misogynistic, and this isn't the picture for that. Like, this should not be the IP to be like, one man can do it.
And she is the woman who can join him.
What the fuck?
Like, brother, this was their marketing campaign back then.
I know it was a different time, but holy shit. That was...
Yeah, some things do not age well.
That was offensive, even by my standards.
Even by your standards. Oh, God.
Like, ladies, I am really sorry. Please don't kick me in the nuts for watching this movie.
Well, and my first memory of this is I'm pretty sure I saw it on TV. I don't know if it was like TBS or USA Channel or even, Saturday afternoons on the Milwaukee WTMJ Channel 4. That's where I saw like a bunch of like Chevy Chase movies, like not like Nothing But Trouble, but like there was one where he like snorts cocaine and he thinks he's God's greatest gift and he's got supernatural powers, things like that. Trading Places, Spies Like Us, those kind of movies. And man, I'm pretty sure I saw it on TV because I always remember like commercials breaking up this movie, watching it in one whole chunk. I think that did not happen until I got the VHS tape like years later. And it was because it was dirt cheap. And I'm like, well, hey, it's Conan. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not Conan. So my early memories are basically TV version, which is basically this same movie, but with commercials.
I just remember thinking like this was really good. And like it was always a pity that it wasn't grouped together with Conan as a trilogy.
Yep.
And I guess I still kind of regret that, but I don't now after having rewatched it again.
Yep. Jeez. Yeah, just rewatching it again, I'm like, ooh.
I
Him
didn't
being
have a
called
bad time.
Bellator and being actually clothed for most of the movie, I'm thinking, you know what? You actually had Arnold cover up one of his best assets for the time period.
I'm surprised he went for that. Like his guns were always there, and that's great.
Right.
But like Lou Ferrigno or Hulk Hogan, had bigger guns than he did, really.
Yeah, the 24-inch pythons, brother.
Well, you know what? I don't know that Ferrigno was bigger than him muscularly. He might have been, but he was much bigger than him in stature. But
Okay.
anyway, and one of the things I didn't like about Conan the Destroyer was they had him in pants most of the time. It's like, I'm not like having a moment of like, hey, I want to see him naked, but that's just how you see Conan in the comics. That's how Conan was in the first movie. They didn't have him in big illustrious costumes. So to have him in something that looked as gaudy as he did in this was a little off-putting.
Yeah, I think they did that mostly to differentiate this character of Calidor versus Conan. So there'd be no issues with having him in this movie, but he basically plays Conan in this movie.
Calidor is actually one of
Right to the
Conan's
name, for
aliases.
whatever reason.
Yeah, because Calidor is an alias that Conan uses.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, well, this is just one of his journeys where he didn't want anybody to know that he was King Conan. It's like, oh, yes, of course.
Like, sure.
Has nothing to do with rights issues. No.
Even though that's really what happened, was rights issues.
Because Dino's a cheap motherfucker.
Yeah, but he still wanted Conan without being Conan.
Oh, yeah. And then apparently Arnold was only supposed to be filming for a week. It was supposed to be like a glorified cameo. And they kept him on for 3 weeks. Or I'm sorry, they kept him on for a month, which is 3 weeks longer than what he was supposed to be there. And then they edited it so that he's in the entire movie. It worked out pretty well for them. But he basically bought his way out of the contract after that because he didn't like the way Dino did business.
I don't think a lot of people like the way Dino did business.
No. Fucking, I don't think anyone's ever come back to work with Dino De Laurentiis a second time. I really don't think so. Like Brett Ratner never did. Right. Sam Raimi never did. Nobody that's reputable has ever come back to work with him a second time.
It's usually like, oh, this asshole ruined my goddamn movie.
I don't even think Jim Wynorski's ever fucking wanted to work with him. I may be wrong. But...
I don't know. That's actually a good question about that one.
Yeah.
Because Jim's usually pretty, sure, why not? And if he's standing his ground on, I don't want to go back to work for that dickwad, then holy cow. That's really saying something, because Jim is way more
laid back.
Yeah. Way more relaxed. And like, whatever, it's water over the bridge. But if he's saying, nah, then something went down.
But when Jim's right and he knows he's right, he will hold his ground. And he's learned that from fucking Corman. And Corman taught him that he was right.
Yeah.
So why argue with somebody that's got that experience?
I go back to Corman.
Yeah, I think, well, yeah.
And he kind of did anyway, but
yeah, because I mean, Dino De Laurentiis is he's good at what he does, but he cheapifies everything and brings you a Temu version of the things that you like. And that's part of the problem with anything that Dino De Laurentiis or his wife and daughter do. Is it his daughter or his wife? Sister?
Daughter.
I don't know. Daughter. Still sore about Army of Darkness.
That makes the rest of us, brother. As much as I like that movie, it's not what they wanted to do.
No.
So
the only thing I think he did right in that was alter the ending to the theatrical ending.
The Shop S Smart one?
Yeah, like that was the only thing that he did that I was like, you know what? Okay, that works. That's a better ending for an American audience.
Well, and it fits with Evil Dead, relatively.
Yeah, well, yeah, more so than I think what they wanted to do. Which, how could you say that?
They tried to do in season 3 of Ash vs. Evil Dead again.
And it still sucked.
It still didn't work.
No. Oh. But God damn it, Tappert knows Evil Dead.
Yeah, Tap.
I love you, Rob. Anyway, Red Sonya.
Yeah. So
welcome to 0-Point Reviews, everybody.
Damn straight, where we go off on tangents at will.
It's a coping mechanism for when we watch bad movies.
Yeah. So let's talk about the good of Red Sonya, Kevin.
0-Point Reviews. 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 0-Point All right, man. Well, we've already kind of mentioned it. This is the third Conan movie.
Yeah.
And golly, he's pretty darn cool in this. He doesn't have his sword because apparently the gentleman who crafted the sword did not lend his licensing to have the sword or its likeness be in this movie. And so they had to like swap it out for another prop at the last second.
Yep.
Otherwise,
Not shocked.
yeah, he would have had he would have had the exact same sword too, which I still think is really cool. But this was a fun action movie. This has very similar action to the original Conan, where there's a little bit more blood splatter. It's a little bit more violent than Conan the Destroyer. There's a lot more blood than Conan the Destroyer. But there aren't as many great fights as the Destroyer was. So I mean, this one's kind of a pros and cons movie. It's hard to say, like, this movie's great. It's good for a swords and sandals film.
Yeah, especially for this time period. I mean, what we're doing next week with Beastmaster, that's going to be one of the last like supremely good ones from this era. And, you know, when you talk about the good with Red Sonya, you have to talk about the sets, the set design, the exterior shots. The movie is beautiful. Clearly they spent money on doing like the matte paintings, the miniatures, the backgrounds. The throne room was awesome. Like there's a lot of excellent looking parts to this movie from an aesthetic level and from an actual functionality level, giving things more of a three-dimensional depth to them rather than just a little sound stage or something. And so it looks fun and it looks good and it's got a good scope.
Yeah, and I think you see that a lot in the final battle where they're
Yes.
fighting in the candle room. And it looks in a way lame. It's not this big grandioso set, but I think if they lit it differently, it would have looked that way because it was a very nice looking set and it was hundreds and hundreds of candles surrounding them on all ends.
That's a
And
total fire hazard, everybody. Just
yeah,
saying.
right. The carbon monoxide detectors were all beeping.
It's an OSHA violation too.
Right. So, but I mean, it was really neat. There was a lot of work and times put into that, I'm sure. But it was maybe if they'd given this, if they give this a better release, like I don't know, 4K, but like it could be shaded different, shaded better. It wasn't bad. It was very beautiful. It was, you have to respect the work put into it. But it wasn't on the level of the Conan movies. Like they just, and I'm guessing that was just a budgetary issue, but they still did a pretty good job here.
Yeah. And just to put it out there, this never even had Blu-ray though.
I wouldn't have thought, like I've only barely remember seeing it on DVD.
And that's the edition that I have. And it was from my wife's grandfather, actually. That was part of his collection. And when they were trying to do the estate sale, I was like, I'll take all the movies. I'll give you a decent money for it. And they're like, all right, cool. So
that's better than me. I would have been like, I'll go put these in the other room.
the case is in the other room where I'd show it, but it's actually in really good shape. And the art looks fantastic. Brigitte Nielsen and Conan, like, yeah, it's not bad.
Well, the funny thing is initially they wanted Sandal Bergman to play Red Sonya. And
that would have been a good choice.
It would have, yes. And she said no because she had already played Conan's love interest before and she didn't want to get typecast, which to me is a little silly because you are the eponymous character of the movie. Like you are the lead character, unless you ask the trailer.
That's true.
So this brings us Brigitte Nielsen into acting. Prior to that, she was just basically a model and doing little bit pieces, commercials or whatever. I don't know.
And after this, she'd go on to do Beverly Hills Cop Part 2.
Part 2, and then Rocky 4, which if you want to know how evil she could be, she's the one that has Apollo killed kids. Blame her.
That's right.
but she was pretty great in this. The only thing that I would say would be a drawback for me in this was the same thing that you had a drawback in for the first Conan movie, and that was being able to hear that accent come through. So they might have given her a few too many lines.
Yeah, they definitely scripted way too much, even for Arnold's standards at this time. We just talked about this in Destroyer. They gave him way too much dialogue. You didn't let the movie do the speaking for itself. Yeah, highlight the strengths and you hide the weaknesses, or accentuate the strengths and hide the weaknesses. And in this one, they did the same damn thing again. They did a complete flip. Like, let's highlight the weaknesses and accentuate the strengths.
Yeah. So its flaws are one thing, but it tries to capture the essence of the barbarian. I don't want to say barbarian culture, but the Conan comics, the culture of those comics and Red Sonya. It tries pretty well. And I want to say that the characters are able to bring out the spirit of those, or the actors are able to bring out the spirit of those characters pretty well. Even being a first-time actor, like Brigitte did a wonderful job portraying this, for lack of a better term, Amazonian warrior.
Yeah, she did a pretty good job, which would later give inspiration for like Xena and things like that. And they've tried to reboot Red Sonya a few times throughout the years, and we're finally getting one, sounds like later this year. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But there was one a few years ago that they were planning with like Rose McGowan, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And Robert Rodriguez, and everybody was actually pretty excited for that, and it just never came to be.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens. Like, things go into pre-production for so long, and studios drag their feet for so long that people lose interest. It becomes more costly for them to be attached to it than not.
Yeah, and I think Robert could have done a pretty damn good job as long as he wasn't shackled by, a studio or anything. I think that's ultimately what happened, is he was trying to keep it modestly budgeted, but he didn't want big studios to be like, we're also going to provide you notes. Rob, what you do with that is you take their notes and you tell them to go fuck off.
Stick them right up your ass.
Yeah, that's the complaint bin, your ass.
Circular file.
Incinerate that. But
the spincular file. I apologize for rubbing my eye. I know this is a live video show, but my allergies are just destroying me right now.
Oh, I thought it was because I made you watch Red Sonya again.
No. Again, I have no complaints.
You can cry, Kevin. Nobody's going to begrudge you.
I'm a weak man. It went so bad. So, yeah. Anyway, well, that'll be for later. The special effects in this with the guy behind me, the water dragon, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's worth mentioning as far as being one of the good things. I liked that. They only had, it was kind of like Tremors, where, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. They actually had that whole shrimp monster built in Tremors, and they only showed a little bit of it. They didn't have a whole big monster built for this, but they made it look like they did, and it worked out pretty well. At least I liked it anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
it
goes to our earlier point. Like, there's a lot of really good looking things in this movie. Like, there is something to find enjoyment in with this movie.
Sure. And even some of the shittier aspects of it are not unenjoyable. Like, there are certain things that could ruin a movie lickety split. Kids and animals. And
pretty much
this movie has both.
Yeah.
But considering the kids is one of the coolest motherfuckers I've ever seen in real life, I was kind of like, well, okay, I can't fucking turn my nose at Ernie. Not ever.
Yeah.
But yes, this is back when Ernie was just a little kid, and they do have him acting like a little kid in a way. And on top of that, they have him acting like a very annoying and spoiled little kid. Like, he's not as cool as Kino is a few years later. So it is a little annoying there, but it's also awesome at the same time, because I'm never unhappy watching Ernie Reyes Jr.
Well, that makes just one of us then.
Now, his God, what was the guy's name? Frank? No, his assistant.
Falcon.
Yeah, Falcon.
Okay.
Lordy, that was bad. That probably didn't need to be. He didn't need to be a fat white guy.
That was Paul Smith. He's a Smith, Kevin.
We
You're
have
gonna
no
really
relation.
knock down your Smiths?
Look, if I had to disregard Cousin Will after that whole slap thing, I could disregard Paul for being in a bad movie.
Well, you got to keep her name out your damn mouth.
Before it gets smacked out it.
Yeah. Well, another good point about this movie is it has a short runtime of about 90 minutes.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even check that. That's right. It went fairly quickly. I watched it Sunday night, and yeah, it ended before my buzz did.
Oh, wow. You gotta work on that buzz of yours, brother.
I'm not going to complain. I was like, well, shit, right on. Now I've got things to do afterwards. And then I didn't. And I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
No, I did. I watched an episode of our TV show that we're watching for Nostalgia TV, the graveyard shift of canceled television.
Resident Alien Season 2, everybody.
So there's my shill.
Yep. Good man. Good man. But, I don't know. You got anything else good about this?
The fight scenes were not as campy as they could have been.
They were okay.
I want to say Brigitte Nielsen was a better trained sword fighter than fucking Wilt Chamberlain was.
Oh God, yeah. Mr. I swing an ox.
Like a baseball bat.
Like a freaking baseball bat. Yeah. Bat in the club. You know.
Yeah, like he's got a one-handed sword and he's got two hands on it and he's fucking going like this, like he's gonna fucking rail a baseball.
I'm gonna slice you in half and knock the head of you all the way over the left field center.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna cut your head so far away.
450 feet. Yeah, baby.
Bob!
It's a record.
So, but I mean, the fight scenes in this, they were not bad. The costumings for it were great. I don't want to say special effects because they most certainly were not that. I guess we can call them that, though.
Not so special effects.
Yeah, the wounds that the swords caused were all pretty cool. And again, this movie had Arnold Schwarzenegger doing his sword fighting in it, who is not bad with this particular sword. And he'd taken special interest in Brigitte Nielsen. So that's also where she got that extra time using the sword. And by that, I also mean learning how to sword fight.
She sword fights with two hands half the time.
Okay, so you remember that thing about Street Fighter where they had this big problem with timing and keeping on schedule because Van Damme was nailing fucking Cammy?
Of course.
Yes, that was apparently the case in this movie as well. Arnold was having an affair with Brigitte, and that's part of the reason why I think he was there for 3 weeks or 3 extra weeks and not complain. I was getting the booty.
Queen Gedrin.
I liked her, sort of. Like, she had a
Good
Phantom of the
girl.
Opera mask, but otherwise, she was really cool. It was really
Yeah, I don't
weird.
think she
seeing
really
her
needed
black
that
hair.
mask, even though you eventually saw the scar. That was pretty dope looking.
Yeah. I don't know why it was in the shape of an F, but it was cool. I think that's just the way, like, it ripped. Her flesh ripped that way. And I'm kind of like, okay. That's disgusting and horrible. I like it. Bravo, movie. Bravo.
The queen who killed my mother and father, prepared to die.
Yeah, and she was very progressive for a villain, wasn't she? Like, this is 1985 and we have a lesbian villain. Like, that was so cool. That set up, that was the catalyst for the revenge story. She wanted Red Sonya for herself. Red Sonya refused, and so the queen threw a fit.
A hissy fit.
Yeah, a real big one. Without being too explicit, like this had the makings for a great revenge story, like a Kill Bill sort of style story. And I think in a way that's what the movie should have been. and they threw in an adventure story instead.
Yeah, the elements were there. It just needed a little bit more editing, a little bit more change of the pace, and a more focus on the fighting and the overall storyline.
Yeah. Now, what did you think of the story as far as this supposed to be Conan?
It was okay.
Yeah. I didn't
I call it pretty average for a script. Nothing really stood out other than the main Red Sonya storyline part, and Calidor a little bit. Everything else just felt like it could have been thrown away, and you wouldn't have missed much out of the movie. Could have actually cut this down to like a 45-minute movie, and it would have been pretty awesome.
Actually, yes. And golly, I feel bad saying that, but there's just a lot of filler in this movie. There's not much to it.
Yeah, and this is where you could have easily, this could have been one of those kind of movies that would have worked well with like riff tracks, MST3K, that sort of base, because that's what, who doesn't remember the Lost Continent? I mean, MST3K fans remember that one. That's a lot of climbing, a lot of walking, and we're climbing again. And we're climbing the whole movie. It's like, this is almost perfect for that kind of riff-tastic sort of event.
Agreed. Rock climbing.
What did you think of the story?
Middle of the road. Middle of the road. Like I said, it started out with the potential to have a great revenge story. Then it kind of turned into a Wonder Woman style story, and then it turned into Conan. And so, I mean, the movie was a little all over the place. It had mixtures of a little bit of everything. It wasn't so much bad, but it could have been better. It could have been more concise. It could have been, it could have had more meat and potatoes to it. Instead of the bad guys wanting to get this piece of kryptonite to make them powerful, like they just, I don't know.
The talisman, Kevin.
Revenge could have been more of a focus than stopping a cult from destroying the earth. Like, is this a revenge story or is this an adventure story? Oh, it's both. You know, make a choice. Like, really, that's what they should have done.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, again, not bad. It's just middle of the road.
What did you think about some of the music in this? Like the score?
Forgettable. Absolutely forgettable. It was not as good as the original Conan score. And that leads me to the question that I was going to wait for in the bad. What was the music that they used in that trailer? Because it was not the music from the movie, and it is from another movie that I just can't place my damn finger on.
I can't figure it out either, honestly.
Like, yeah, I don't know, but it was bugging me the entire time the trailer was on.
It's like, I feel like I've heard this before. Where is it from? I don't know.
Mac and me, Jesus Christ.
Oh, God, please, God, I hope not. Could be a laser blast for all I know.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Don't care to touch that one with a 10-foot pole.
I would love to see Riff Tracks do this. I so very much would, and it's perfect for them. This is one of those cheesy 80s things they've done. Speaking of Big Jim, they've done Swamp Thing Returns, or the Savage Return of Swamp Thing, whatever it was. They've done Rad. They've just done Point Break, and I can't remember what's happening this year. Another classic where you're just kind of like, oh man, that so fits. This would be a perfect fit for that.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because it's entertaining. You could sit here and watch this and not be bored. But the writing is atrocious, and there is so much room for commentary to make this just fantastic.
That would be my consensus as well. And that being said, maybe it's time we shift on over to the bad.
Yes, sir. And there's our piece of kryptonite.
The talisman, Kevin.
And the funny thing is like Superman 4 was still 2 years away. And they have a piece of kryptonite left over from Superman 4.
Yep, pretty much. I am Nuclear Man.
Why do I look like you? Or why do I sound like you? Yeah, so I mean, the bad guys weren't horrible in this by any means, but it's Sandal Bergman and all the Nazis from not Return of the Living Dead,
Raiders of the
Raiders of
Lost
the
Ark.
Lost Ark. Yeah, like all the Nazis there in this movie is bad guys, and you're kind of like, okay, someone had a friend at the casting agency. Oh yeah, all my buddies are free. The
Yeah,
only one who wasn't in
that
it
dude
is Sven
to the
Rollinson.
left was pretty funny. I kept thinking he was somebody else this whole movie. Like, is he going to start yelling inconceivable?
No, God, no. It's not Wallace Shawn.
Kidding.
But he looked like him with the blonde hair in this a little bit, though. I get you that. He didn't look like himself. His hair color was very different.
Yes.
And he wasn't the sniveling, sweaty, creepy bastard that he was in Raiders.
No, he just got rolled over.
It was pretty cool, though. But again,
although he waited long enough for that to happen. It's that scene from Austin Powers. I see it coming. I'm not moving. It's 40 feet away. He had plenty of time to roll out of the way.
Yeah. But it was entertaining when he died. And you're never unhappy to see him die because he played such a greasy, creepy, sweaty Nazi in Raiders.
Well, he was a thief.
That too. And when you think about what a Nazi looks like, that's generally the first thing you think about outside of what's his name.
Yeah.
The mustachy one that played the piano. Anyway, the bad of this movie.
Yep.
Middle of the road. I know we've been saying it, but the acting in this was, I can't say
ranges from mid to terrible.
Yeah, like everyone was kind of phoning it in, except for Brigitte, who was trying to do a really good job, and fuck Arnold at the same time to like get a career going and stuff like that.
Yep.
And she's got a thing for short dudes, I guess, like Arnold, Sly, Flava Flav. Let's not forget that was a thing. Who saved Red Lobster? Bless his soul.
And you're gonna mention that. I would have made that a commercial for the show.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. How the mighty fall. But anyway, I don't know. Like this movie, it didn't have the same presence of bad guys as the Conan movies did. Having one of your heroines return as a bad guy just was not a good choice. She should have either been offered the role or not at all. Like the eponymous role or just not at all. And that's not to say that she was bad in this. It wasn't a good idea to cross the IP. Like it's weird. Like Rhys Davies being in Amazing Spider-Man and Venom 3. It's weird.
Yeah, definitely the writing is a strong point of contention I have for this movie. And I know you like Ernie Reyes. I don't blame him for this, but his character was terrible. It was incredibly annoying, continually was getting in the way. And then they gave him a fight victory over a freaking wizard. Like, yo, come on. No, we don't need to play that. And honestly, I don't know. There's such pacing and editing issues in this that oftentimes you're just like, when is this movie going to get going here? Like we go from one fight scene to the next, but the fight scenes are like 15, 20 minutes apart. It feels like it's a half an hour.
And in between those fight scenes, Conan and Red Sonya are fighting to see who's going to, for like topsies, basically.
Yeah.
And
like
it wasn't
sparring session, and then like little idiot Prince Dan gets up and he's like, I'm gonna save her. It's like, yo, they're actually just practicing and sparring here.
This is called foreplay, my friend.
Well, Red Sonya apparently is on the level of Calidor. Especially by the way the movie ends. I do not sleep with a woman who cannot beat me in battle. So I guess a few Latin maids did all right.
Schnitzel.
A Wiener Schnitzel.
I miss those old Conan jokes. Not Conan, but Conan O'Brien.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So the movie is fine. It feels like a lot of missed opportunities and questionable decisions, and it's just kind of there as a movie. It's certainly better than a lot of things these days, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. It
Like the source material's good. Like all you
sure.
had to do is actually adapt like one of the goddamn comics or
They
story.
didn't know how to do that back then.
They
Shit, the
should
fact
have.
that they
They
got
did fucking
Conan
Conan
right was
Barbarian
amazing.
just right. What they needed was John fucking Milius back.
Yes, but I think he was pretty comfortable not doing it and not working with Dino either.
Mr. Dino.
Yeah. He's a fucking shyster. I'm sorry.
At least they didn't bring Mako back and make him stupid too. So
yeah, that would have sucked. I wouldn't have liked that. Or Malik. That would have been even more annoying.
Yep.
Could have had Grace Jones, but no, they're all in that other fucking kingdom.
Yep, a whole different part of the world. But it is what it is with this movie. On an overall level, I'd say it was nice watching it again. I don't know when I'm going to watch it again, though. The replayability on this movie is just not what it should be.
Correct. I can't say that I'll never watch this again. Because if I feel like if I say that, that's out of spite. Like there is a chance that I would sit and watch this again one day.
Yeah, I would say for me, I just don't know when I would watch this again. Not anytime soon, though.
It would have to be on, or someone would need us to review it with them.
Which happens sometimes.
Yeah. If I needed a
Zach,
refresher.
don't even think about it.
No. But this is and I guess I could. Do you want me to hop to Final Judgment as we talk about its replayability?
Sure, we've been talking about the bad for a while already. So
yeah, here's our foreplay of whether or not they could get down. I would like to point out that the camera is tilted so that Arnold looks taller than what he is.
And she's
He's
crouching down.
Yep. Because she is a very tall woman. Like you look at her and you're like the fucking guy from Fifth Element when he sees the diva. Tall.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's how kinks get started.
And she was blue too.
Yeah.
The diva.
But this, if it was on, sure, I'd watch it if there was nothing else on. It's on. I can't say it's on par with Canadian TV. It's not that cheesy, but it gets there. I don't know. I can't say if this was on in the hospital like it was, like Conan was when my wife had to go to the hospital. And I was kind of like, fuck, man, are they calling us in now? Like Conan was that movie for me. This is most certainly not. I would be bored watching this and be really irritated because my wife needed help. Conan didn't allow me to feel that way. So sorry, baby.
Go Conan.
No Conan.
I said go Conan.
Oh, go Conan. It's like no Conan for you.
Crouching Brigitte, Hidden Schwarzenegger.
Schnitzel.
It's an okay movie.
Honestly, I feel bad for saying this. If I was to rate this out of 10, I would say 4.5.
I go 4.
Yeah, it's not unenjoyable, but it doesn't cross that line of a 5-star movie or a halfway decent movie where you're kind of like, you know what? I see this. I'm not surprised it's not on Blu-ray is really what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a slog to get through, to be honest with you. Yeah, it doesn't mean you're not going to maybe enjoy it. You may or you may not, but you're going to feel like, man, for a 90-minute movie, this feels like it's 2 hours long.
Like Bloodhook got a Blu-ray, didn't it? And
yes, it did. I have it.
And Monos, The Hands of Fate. got a 4K restoration. Fucking 4K restoration, y'all.
For a shit ass movie.
Yeah. And this, I'm not actually surprised at all that it didn't get any respect. I would think someone like Shout Factory would need to get this and have a fuck ton of special features on there, good special features and commentaries and documentaries in order for this to be worth putting on Blu-ray. That's why I don't give it a 5.
Well, it's also an MGM picture, so that's Amazon Prime these days. Would own the rights to this movie and potential physical media home release, and they don't tend to put out much of that.
No, they don't. I don't think they've ever put out one of their shows before, have they?
Only if it's a co-production with another studio, like a Warner Brothers in them or a Paramount in them, that sort of thing. Or if it's a mega hit, then of course they will.
But not the Tick or Fallout, motherfuckers.
Bitches. Just saying.
I prefer Kroll. Golly, you know what? That's a horrible thing to say, but you're right. Kroll the Conqueror is probably a better movie than this.
Which one is that one? Is that with Sean Connery, or am I thinking something else?
No, that's
Zardoz. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Kroll the Conqueror was Kevin Sorbo and...
No, that was Kull the Conqueror.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Kroll. Yeah. That was the one with the spinny thing.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, wait, who? All right. Screw it. I'll look it up.
I don't remember who was in that. I'm sure I saw that in the 80s, but I don't recall it.
1983.
Riff Tracks also did Kroll Live. So again,
British American science fantasy adventure, directed by Peter Yates, distributed by Sony. And that's got, let's see here, Liam Neeson's in that one, John Walsh, Robbie Coltrane, Freddie Jones. So it's got a good cast. Ken Marshall, Lisette Anthony.
I'm
1983.
I'm sure it's great, but I'd rather watch Ice Pirates. I'm mentally challenged.
I'd rather watch Time Bandits.
That too.
That's a good movie, though.
So is Ice Pirates.
I know. I didn't say it wasn't.
Oh, it's got space herpes.
Space herpes. Oh, man. I mean, of all the Sword and Sandals movies from this era, it probably isn't one of the better ones.
No,
that's probably being generous.
If you want to see a better Swords and Sandals movie, go see Deathstalker 2. It has a professional wrestler in it. They're really decent fight scenes. The costumes are all fitting of people. Like, I don't know. It's just Deathstalker 2 is better than this movie.
A comment from Scorched, that or Lou Ferrigno Hercules. I forgot he did Hercules movie. I know Arnold did Hercules in New York or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, I can't stand that one.
No, the dubbing was so bad. And the movie itself is stupid. Like, it really is stupid.
Yeah. Man, what do you think's the legacy of this movie, Kevin? You think it's destined to never be properly adapted? You think the remake might do something and this will be forever the only Red Sonya thing that we've ever gotten?
No, because there is supposed to be a new Red Sonya movie coming out later this year, I've heard.
Yep.
And Gail Simone just wrote a very wonderful novel for Red Sonya. I don't know if she consulted on the new movie, but she ought to have, because she truly gets the character. And I think hopefully that could shepherd in a re-release for this physical media. I don't know, but I've seen the pictures from the new movie with the new character. With the new actor. I don't know who it is, but she is wearing Red Sonya's chainmail bikini, which is what the comic character is always wearing. So I don't think Brigitte was bad in this. She just looks like one of the Wonder Woman Amazonians instead of Red Sonya with
Yeah.
a mullet, 80s mullet. So, but otherwise, I think if this new movie has some decent writing, some good special effects, let's keep it practical effects if we can, and some good fight scenes, and they keep it to the source material, I would really love to see this IP come back, and maybe it could save Conan. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty interested in checking it out. So when it does come out, I'm gonna probably check that one out. And let's see here.
I don't want it to be as cheap as fucking The Legend of Chun-Li, though. I really don't.
No. And I might have a picture here. 1 second. Ah, fascinating podcasting work, Jeff.
Yes,
I know.
riveting.
It's very, very riveting. All right. Screen share. Red Sonya. So that's going to be Matilda Lutz, Red Sonya. I like the sword.
Uh-huh.
Some of the cast, some of the sets.
Cool. Yay, castles.
Nice fire effects.
Yeah, right.
She
Neat.
is looking a little bit more badass. So while we're not getting full chainmail outfit looking thing, this is a little bit better than what we got.
It's closer to it. She's more clothed in this than she is in the comics.
Yep.
Like she's got shoulder pads and shit.
So that's what we're looking forward to, everybody, for Red Sonya 2025.
Scorched's dog looks very familiar. Anyway, yeah.
Do I need to bring his comment up
no.
again?
No,
It's a puppy.
no. Yeah. Anyway, golly, I would love to see the new movie do really well. I very much want to.
Needs to be good.
I want to get the audio tape to the new Red Sonya book. Felicia Day reads it, so I was kind of like, well, shit, that's got to be
really
cool. Yeah.
Now, would you recommend the comics and the original stories out there? Have you read many of those? I've only read some.
I haven't read any of them, but from
It's
what
been a
I
long
have
time for me,
heard,
so don't ask for names of things. I barely remember them from like 20 years ago.
I've never heard someone say they didn't like Conan comics or Red Sonya comics.
I got the Cimmerian Chronicles, the actual stories that Conan from Robert Heinlein that he did, and I started that. It's very interesting. I really like it, so I'm looking forward to finishing that book.
That's cool.
It's a big, thick, hardbound book, though.
It's a Bible. It's word.
Kinda. But I don't know. You got any other final thoughts before we say goodbye and good night to everybody?
I'm sorry for everybody that followed along with us. You didn't have to watch this, but we thank you if you did.
Yeah, I mean, not every movie is going to be a hit. Not every movie is going to be middle of the road, and not every movie is going to be absolutely trash. We haven't hit a trash level one yet, but I have a feeling we're going to be getting there one day.
What was that? Freddy Frico? Was that the new movie that the Psycho Gorman group did?
Yeah, Freddy Frico.
Yeah, that was apparently a stinker. I'm glad we dodged that one.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to watch that one, but I'm good.
It's on par with Munchie, I hear, and I'm kind of like, that's where I'm
I
out.
was not a fan of Munchies.
Munchies is great. Munchie is not so good. I'm sorry, Jim.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Jim
did Munchie.
Well, I'm sure everybody wants to get munching on something else around here and get off the Red Sonya train. But next week, we are going to be talking about Don Coscarelli's The Beastmaster, starring Mark Singer. And that is no doubt an awesome movie. and that's going to be a hell of a fun time. So thank you everybody for tuning in to 0 Point Reviews with Jeff and Kevin. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. If you have not, it does help get the show on out there. Subscribe down below, hit the bell notifications so you can stay tuned to all of our video content, and we will see you all next week on 0 Point Reviews of Beastmaster.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is Lord Calidor, the most skillful warrior, the most daring swordsman, the greatest adventurer of all. One man can bring the world to justice, and one woman has the power to fight by his side. Red Sonya, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brigitte Nielsen. Red Sonya, rated PG-13. Now